All right, let's talk about something really important. How do you communicate when everything goes offline? And I don't just mean in theory. We're going to get into the actual tools and strategies you absolutely need to know.
Okay, I want you to imagine something for a second. You wake up, you roll over, grab your phone, and nothing. Just nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi. The internet is just gone.
And look, we're not talking about your usual slow, annoying connection.
No. It's gone.
Think about what that means. No social media, no messaging apps. You can't check in on your family, you can't coordinate with your friends. All those services we rely on every single day, poof, vanished.
So the big question is, how do we stay connected? What do you do when that digital lifeline is just cut? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
Okay, so let's start with our first line of defense. We're talking about some amazing apps and tech that let you build your own local networks, completely off the grid.
So the key concept here is something called a mesh network. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a digital bucket brigade. Instead of your phone trying to reach a faraway cell tower, it just connects directly to another phone nearby using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And that phone connects to another, and so on. Your phone literally becomes a node, a link in the chain.
And this is how it actually works. It's pretty cool, right? A message from, say, phone A doesn't need a direct line to phone D. Nope, it just hops from phone to phone, B, C, until it gets there. It creates this network that can basically heal itself. And you know what the best part is? The more people who use it, the bigger and stronger the network gets.
Now, it's important to note that not all mesh apps are the same. You've got two big players here. Think of BridgeFi as your easy-to-use option, perfect for big crowds like a festival or a protest where the cell networks just get overloaded. But then you have Briar. Briar is different. It's like a digital fortress. It's built for situations where security and end-to-end encryption are non-negotiable.
Okay, and don't sleep on this idea because it's genius. We're talking about local Wi-Fi. You can take an old router, one you probably have in a closet, and set up your own private offline network. It has no connection to the outside internet, which means it can't be shut down remotely. It's perfect for a community center, a shelter, or just a pre-organized group to create their own little digital island to share files and chat.
All right, so local networks are great for your immediate area. But what if you need to reach further? Well, that brings us to our next layer of resilience. We're going to go from digital apps to analog signals and start riding the radio waves.
First up is Zello. Zello is kind of this cool hybrid. It basically turns your smartphone into a walkie-talkie. It's super fast, great for coordinating groups with push-to-talk voice. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. It does still need an internet connection. It's very low data, so it might work when other things don't, but it's not truly off-grid. Still, that instant voice communication can be a game changer.
But when the internet is completely gone, you need to go full analog. And that's where this comes in. You've basically got two main choices. On one hand, you have your standard walkie-talkies. Super simple, no license needed, great for local stuff. On the other hand, you have ham radio. Now this is the heavy hitter. We're talking super long range, incredibly resilient, but yeah, you do need a license and a bit of training. It's a whole other level. And when I say a whole other level, I mean it. We're talking about a range of potentially thousands of miles. A good ham operator can talk to someone on the other side of the country or even the world with zero infrastructure in between. It is, without a doubt, the gold standard for off-grid communication.
Then there's this really interesting tech called LoRa, which stands for long-range radio. Now, you're not going to have a conversation on this. Think of it more like a digital flare gun. It's designed to send tiny, critical packets of information like I'm okay or GPS coordinates over huge distances with very little power. It's for those life-or-death signals when nothing else works.
Okay, we've talked about local networks you can build yourself. We've talked about radio. But what happens when all else fails? What are the absolute last resorts? Well, let's get into the last channel standing.
And this quote right here says it all. In emergencies, reliability matters more than elegance. It's so true. It's not about what's new or fancy. It's about what works, no matter what. And that brings us to two surprising survivors, Signal and good old SMS. So why do they often work when nothing else does? Well, Signal is incredibly efficient. Think of it like a motorcycle in a traffic jam. It's so lightweight with its data use that it can often sneak through when bigger, heavier apps are stuck. And SMS? That's the real secret weapon. It doesn't even use the internet. It uses a totally separate, much simpler network for texting. And that network is often the very last thing to go down. And what if every single digital connection is severed? What then? Well, then you go back to basics. Physical data transfer. We're talking USB drives, memory cards, even just a piece of paper. You can't shut that down. It's the ultimate backup.
So, we've gone through a lot of tools here, right? From mesh networks to ham radio. But I want to be really clear about something. The most important tool you have isn't an app or a device. It's a strategy. It's a mindset. Because look, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. No single tool is enough. There is no magic bullet.
Real preparedness, true resilience, is all about having layers. You've got your digital layer, those apps that can sip data on a weak connection. You have your local layer, the networks you build for your community. Then you have your radio layer for when there's no infrastructure at all. And finally, your physical layer, the ultimate backup. Each one supports the others. That's a real strategy.
And I want to leave you with this last thought, because it really hits home. The people who stay connected are not the most technical. They are the most prepared. It's not about being a tech genius. It's about thinking ahead. It's about being ready. So the real question isn't what tech you have. It's, are you prepared?